all
Yeah,
know each
that is-
other, and
you're
we all
right,
say
you're right.
hey, and we all,
Uh-huh. I agree. That area is good too. There's a lot of good areas around this place, and we're lucky to have them. We're lucky to have them. And
I think Black Mountain's a nice area too.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Up in
Oh,
Black
that
Mountain.
downtown.
Yeah, that's
those
kinda
little
neat-
shops.
neat
That's
area.
where I have a
I
story
haven't
for
been there
you.
yet.
Hadn't been there?
You haven't been there? You gotta check
How
it
long
out.
you been in this area?
Been down here almost a year and a half.
And where?
It's coming, and Black Mountain's coming.
Yeah, I've been out in Leicester myself, so there's nothing out there.
Lester.
Nothing out
And
there.
you've seen that house where we live. It's not shabby either, is it?
No, it's a decent house.
It's nice. It's nice.
Yeah, my mother looked at a house close by there, the ones with the white columns down in that main curve to the
Uh-huh.
right. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
but it didn't do it.
I'm not sure, but I'm believing that house across the street from us is vacant. Do you know which one I'm talking about? They've not mowed the grass there. They
It
mowed a
probably is
circle
vacant.
around it.
Huh?
Just right near the fence and the road and that stuff. And it looks like they did a couple of laps around it and quit.
There's no talent.
Yeah.
That's a highly desired piece of property.
I bet.
You know, not for residential use, obviously.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, they might have sold it or might be thinking about it. Yeah.
The sad part about that development out there, in my opinion, is Weaverville needs some good restaurants, and the problem of it is they pass liquor, ABC stores, but we miss liquor by the drink. Not that I'm a proponent of drinking liquor all the time.
Okay.
It's just that I'd like to see some good restaurants out there.
The class of restaurant that comes along with that is
Yeah.
usually a higher class restaurant.
Well, not so higher class, just a good where you eat a meal. I'm not talking about 5-star by no means.
Yeah.
An Outback, let's say, in general.
What's going on Tunnel Road? With the restaurants, I mean, for the past 3 years, they've been coming and going like a revolving door.
They not. They,
Don
Just
Pablo's is
not enough
on
money.
that.
they're not. A
Cheeseburger.
lot
They
of.
knocked that
Paradise.
down. Did you know that?
Cheeseburger in Paradise went under?
Yeah.
They went a
The
while.
Lone Star?
Yeah.
Little,
Well, I can
that
tell you
was
what's wrong with
gone under?
Cheeseburger in Paradise was it was up on the hill. Nobody knew it was
Nobody
up
was
there.
That and
there. I
high-priced
liked it
burgers.
though.
You know
That was
it.
Cool.
Why are they all going
But
under?
even if they'd had more visibility, the high price they'd been able to sell those high priced burgers. But
I thought the environment in there was pretty cool though. Just the setup, the paintings on the tiki bar, that was really neat.
Well, that little Coral Bay restaurant was the seafood. I love that place. It reminded me of seafood on the coast. You could go in there and get a nice little piece of fried fish and baked potato and coleslaw, and whatever for a really decent price. And they were almost like a Christian environment. You walk in that little Christian material. They went under. Then the restaurant called Hams went in
A lot of-
behind.
a lot
of-
They
I'm
went
Surprised
under.
at that one.
the life of businesses in Asheville is not real good.
No, the
Well, I
turnover is
know,
really
Lexington-
fast because they
Turnover-
go where the money goes, and there's
Turnover is fast
kids.
here.
It's a college town,
A
and the
lot
kids
of-
don't have any money.
A lot of
Lexington comes and
businesses
goes all
don't
the
make
time.
it for
Some
a
of
lot
them.
of different reasons in Asheville, and it's not always the business's fault, and it's not always the community's fault either. You know what I mean? It'd be different things, but for a variety of reasons, businesses often don't last long in Asheville,
Wow.
and that's just
That's
Be really
really
sad
sad.
because it's only an 8-month market year, in my opinion.
Well, the one that hurt, that kind of disappointed me. I was really sad to see it go. Was the T.S. Morrison's over on Lexington. I was so sad that store.
restaurants
closed.
restaurants around here wish they could close 3 months out of the year. They really
Well,
do.
now they do it. The Biltmore State,
Well,
right?
see, but they can't. A restaurant really
I
can't.
think the local economy would support these restaurants in those off seasons.
See, because even if they close 3 months out of the year, they still got to pay their rent those 3 months out of the year. See
You
what
still
I mean?
got to pay for the property.
And
I
all
just
that
don't
stuff, it's
envision-
just-
I mean,
It's just that way.
I was surprised to see at the hotel that I'm working at down in Arden, right on that road, we've got the boathouse. They closed on
yeah,
Monday.
I saw that on the news.
And I mean, I've never been there, but everybody that comes in to see the Biltmore Estate loves that place.
well,
I
now-
mean, but that and like the original steakhouse on Hendersonville Road closed the same day on Monday.
Wow.
So places that we're recommending our guests to go, they're going and saying,
They're
"There's
closed.
nobody here. I don't know what you're talking about." And those are two really pretty cool, fun places to go for.
Did you eat one of
That,
those
so-
cookies? Eat one of those cookies that
Which
had
one?
the one with the thing. Yeah, eat one of those.
I'm just thinking,
Yeah.
w's
The
going to
other
happen
ones are good too, but
when
try
we
that.
start
I think they're
recommending people to
particularly
go
good.
places. Now these places are gone, and now there's
Jam.
no appeal to where we are because
good.
there's nowhere for them to go. They come off the highway,
they come
find a
from?
hotel,
Who
and
brought
say,
those
I brought them.
"Where can we eat?"
They're good. I think they're
well,
especially good
ideally,
cookies.
it's nice to have little restaurants inside the
I think-
hotel.
The jam.
They're good.
If you
I
could,
think they're
if
good.
you're big enough operation that you can do that.
And that's what the other one has
I
jam
think
on it
that's
too.
gonna be down the road, but still, I mean, it's gonna be difficult seeing all these little places going. Because now, when we're recommending places, like I just said, when we recommend people to go places, there's nowhere for them to go. They're gonna be like, we're on a dead end road, we're off the highway, there's nowhere to visit.
Well, there's still some good ones. I mean, there's that. Well, there's still
Not
some
on that
good,
road though. A
there's-
lot of people don't drive. A lot of people get shuttled in from the airport, so they get out there and say, I can walk somewhere, and now there's nowhere to go. So I mean, they can go to McDonald's. Yay!
Most of the McDonald's managed to stay open.
You know what I saw last night? There was on the Travel Channel. They have a McDonald's in Canada in Montreal called the McCafe, and they don't sell any actual McDonald's there. It's all like a bistro.
They
Coffee
don't have a
and
Big Mac.
pastries.
You can't get a Big Mac.
You can next door in their little McDonald's, but that's pretty cool that they actually sell real pastries and torts and weird things.
Can we do a plug for the food bank?
Go ahead, plug the food bank. Turn the microphone.
The local food banks, Manna, some of the other ones are in an emergency type situation. They had a food drive today.
I saw they were closed or something for a
yeah,
couple days.
I think they're open from 8 to 4. But if anyone out there is listening, and you can go through your cupboards and you can find, some extra canned foods or some, whatever. If you have a few extra bucks, and go over to one of the grocery stores and drop a few dollars, or even if you just want to go give them a monetary donation, they are in a crisis situation. So
Is there not a good place or a place that maybe locals could run a fund?
they had a
Sit
food.
outside with a box for a couple hours.
Let's see.
They
There's
had a-
Manna Food Bank and there's
Manna.
ABCCM. Is that?
I know Manna is the main warehouse for the area, and
What do you know? You know much about food banks, Richard?
What do you want to know about?
That's ABCCM. Is that separate from Manna?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And I think they could use some food too.
they may buy from Manna.
What
I'm
they
not
said,
sure.
if you don't want to take it to the food bank, you can take it to the local fire department.
Yeah, they had a drive
Yeah,
today.
it
I
is
don't know how late
kind
it
of a far
is,
hike
but
to get over.
All right. That
yeah,
sounds
your
good.
local fire department. But definitely, this is a good way to give back to the community.
Okay.
So maybe
and
the
help
food bank
lessen
should.
Unfortunate.
Maybe one should open up in the downtown area where there's all those dead buildings that nobody wants to put a business because there's nowhere to park or something. And have people actually be in a reasonable location where people can come and pick up this food too.
That's a good idea.
Because it's too. I just
like a
went
little
to the.
a little place where they could drop food off
Well, I just
downtown
went to-
instead of driving all the way up the
Right.
Swannon
Well, I
River
just
Road.
went to the nature center the other day for the first time. I didn't even know
Oh,
it existed. It's a cool spot, but the food bank's like over in that area.
Yeah.
I've never known it was there.
Yeah, it's yeah.
Most of the people having hardships are out here. I mean, I'm sure they're out there too.
Well, what happens is you can't actually go. Say, like you or I, if we were running low on food, we were running low on money, we needed some emergency help. I think Manna will allow you to go over there one time, and they'll give you a box. But what you would do is you would go to a place like ABCCM, or you would go to the Salvation Army.
For
There's a list of these
distribution center.
distribution
So
sites.
Manna is a collection center,
Exactly.
and
And-
other places are distribution centers.
Manna is the main warehouse that holds all the food, and then these different agencies will go in and, let's say they'll go in and pay 15 cents a pound for food. They'll buy it by the pound. They'll buy 80, 100 pounds of food. They'll take it back to their agencies, and then less fortunate people or people that are buying will work through that agency to get food. The problem is that Manna, who is the main distributor, has announced that their resources are running low, so they're not going to have food to give to the agencies unless they can start building their stock
Most
back up.
of their donated food that you're talking about comes from the grocery store.
Yeah, I know Ingalls is, I think,
mean,
really
kids is-
Distributors. There was a nut distributor here in town, believe it or not. I was there once, and they pulled up in a big van and they unloaded all types of nuts, brand, still sealed in a can, of course.
Right.
But the expiration date was like 60 days out. But they knew they could get them out.
And if you are a retailer and you're listening to this show, and you have the food like that, I'm sure Amanda would appreciate it. I think one of the main arguments with corporate retailers is that they're afraid that if they donate the food, if something happened to a person that ate it, they would some way be liable. But I think there are contracts out there that will cover them so that that situation wouldn't arise.
I don't know. When I was back at home, when I was in school, I mean, they had students
okay?
bringing in food. They would have kids put on a play, and in order to come see it, you just bring a canned food and just making an
Exactly,
effort.
yeah.
And that's the problem is that there's there isn't any of that going on. I mean, they had the kids doing it, the Girl Scouts doing it. They would throw concerts, or radio stations would just bring up food just to come see something. You see something, you benefit, they benefit, everybody benefits, and there's not enough of that going on.
Well, there's
nobody wants to pay to do anything right now.
I don't want to start an argument or, get us off on another tangent, but I saw in the paper a couple of weeks ago where the United States was sending 565,000 pounds of food to Hong Kong or someone to help them in a crisis situation. They had negotiated a deal. It was in the National Citizen Times.
Was it because it had an earthquake?
I think that was part of it, and we were trying to help them. So we sent a bunch of food over there as well. Not that this affected any of the situation that we had here, but it's everywhere.
Well, when I was younger, I was in a situation where I had to go to the food bank every week. My family and I would go, and we would get food because we didn't have a lot of income coming in. My mom wasn't working. She had a hardship. Yeah. She was kind of on a disability, and that was just the thing. And I mean, we would go and we would get grocery bags full of food, but at the same time, it was all bread they had in a freezer for a really long time. By the time you got it out, got it to your house, it was like moldy and dead in 3 days. And
that's not good.
And you would get 10 cans of like cranberry sauce.
Yeah,
I mean, that's the thing. People will go into their dusty old basement and bring a can of peas,
right.
and it's like, well, how much
You're
cranberry
at the
sauce
mercy
can you
of what they offer you, and it's not always, a
moldy
lot of
bread
times,
and cranberry sauce.
I've been there to Salvation Army or different places, and God bless them because they're doing the best they can. But sometimes, I'll get 3 bags of cookies or cookies and this, that, and the other. I need cookies like I need to. I mean. And I'm grateful for cookies, or whatever. But I mean, I guess what I'm saying is that it's difficult for a person to watch their weight and watch their health when there are situations like that where they can only get high-fat foods or high-carbohydrate foods or foods that are full of fat and cholesterol because those things are a lot less expensive. I can go over to the convenience store and buy 5 Little Debbies. Whereas if I go over whereas if I go to Green Life or some of these expensive health food stores, it's going to cost a lot of money to get the food that I really need to take care of myself.
Well, that's the thing. Even for people who do have the money, I've never understood for anything. Why is it more expensive to live healthier, be better to the environment?
That's right.
Like we were talking about solar-powered cars and things like that. If we have the technology, I mean, we have it for.
I do. I have a rant. Wait a minute.
Difficult.
I have a rant. Something I wanted to rant about, and that is about. It's about space aliens. I needed to discuss our association with the alien with others with different species and stuff like that, and how are we going to get along with different species and stuff like that.
What kind of food did they eat?
And what we need, and something I wanted to point out was. We need to develop a good working relationship with our alien brothers, different species from different planets and stuff around the galaxies, and for a good idea, people wonder, well, why have we not had more and better contact than we have, and perhaps it's because of the way we've been acting.
Yeah, we're not ready for it.
And as an example of how we've been acting, what kind of relationship will we have with other species from other planets when you look at what kind of relationship do we have with other species from our own planet?
Right.
When we are actually wiping species out of existence, if we will wipe species out of existence on our own planet, why should a species from another planet have any relations with us? So we probably need to do some work at home on that.
Right.
And I also wanted to point out that things are a lot more like they are now than they ever have been. And of course, things were a lot more like they were, like they used to be than they are now.
The answer lies in time travel.
Well,
do we have to go back or forward?
Yeah.
You know what I want to say? I have been talking about this lately. Have you ever seen the movie Close Encounters of the Third Kind? Did you see it? Close Encounters of the Third Kind. What's the actor's name that played Mr. Opus?
I don't know.
I don't know. Anyhow, I want to see a sequel for that one. I want him to come back from outer space and see what he has to say. That was a good movie. That was a really good movie.
You're very good. You need to join your RTB.
Yeah, I
You
know.
need to do a regular show.
Will.
And you need to do a call-in show.
Yeah, I should do that.
I think
I love that lady that's here
I
on
know.
Saturdays.
Isn't she good?
I love her. I haven't
Is that
called
the-
in
Psychic
yet. but-
therapy. Have you
Psychic
seen it?
therapy. She is great.
Psychic therapy. What?
Psychic therapy. Her and the little girl that sits with her. I don't know her
Have
name.
you seen the
but
show?
She
Oh,
is
yeah.
so
Have you called
good.
in?
I tried. It's busy, or it's a rerun. You know?
It seems like as quick as she hangs up that phone, it's right. It's like
There's so many people watching. I'm telling you.
I'm
It's
telling
not
you.
just any. It's the network, and I call it a network. I think it's watched all the time. Whether they stay with it as a channel surf, they always say, let's see what's on 20 because you never know what you'll find there.
see, that's what I do. When I go channel surfing, anytime I turn on the TV, the first thing I do is channel surf, and the first one I look at is channel 20. Is that what you do
I do
too?
the same
Really nothing
thing,
good
yeah.
before it, anyhow.
Yeah.
It's not a whole
but,
lot
But
good
her
before.
show's good. I'm glad that she's got it. I think it's a cute show.
She is, and you know,
That's,
every time she answers the phone, she goes, "Wow, honey, I'm just so glad you called me. I know it's just down home, honey, little sweetie." Da 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 da.
I seen where you played her clip the other day on your show.
Uh-huh.
You played a
little bit.
promo on the show.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. She's evidently had a show somewhere else, I would say.
Think not. Isn't she good? I asked her, did she used to be a 900 or something? she said no.
Look at that video she's got of her singing out there.
Oh, I know.
and
A
thought that she's
friend of
done
hers
this.
made that for her.
Really?
Uh-huh. Yeah, they went to the
How long
beach.
she
Oh
was in
yeah, I've
this
seen
area?
that. At the
Oh,
beginning,
wow.
it looks like Ralph went to the coast like that one time.
Yeah, no, she's doing that. She was my student in Studio A.
But she'd never done this before.
Just got the
I
wild.
thought she'd done it
Just
somewhere
She's
got
else.
the
good.
wild hair to do it,
She's
and then she
really
good. My
good, yeah.
God.
Point it out, I'll tell you that.
She is. What I'm loving it. Every time she's on, every time I see her, I tell her how she's the thing, and she's going to be the next one signed to the big satellite productions or whatever because now they do good to get her. I tell you what, she could go national with a routine like she does. She could go national with that, and be serious. And because if that many people around here like to watch that many more people
that's
around the whole
true.
country would
That's
watch
really
that.
true.
Would watch her answering that phone. Well, honey, I'm just so glad you called. Let's see. Lord, look here. What's going to happen to you today? She's
Flip
just-
them cards over.
Yeah, I know. She's just flipping it or looking at this in that book, and
And
she's
then-
just
now,
going.
Real quick, we've got another show I noticed. It's in Studio A. A black lady who's talking religious, but she
Dale
Uh-huh.
Joyner.
Who's
She's
that?
Dale Joyner.
Dale
I watched
Joyner.
her show the other day. It was awesome.
I haven't
It
seen
was
that
really
yet.
good. Her
I've seen
insight is
bits and
really
pieces.
good, and she's not. She was doing a whole thing on like Christianity and God the other day, and she wasn't even saying, "I'm not forcing this on you, but this is my opinion and this is your opinion, and I love you because that's your opinion."
Right.
And she's like, "I don't want
Right,
to
and
force
she-
anything on
She
anyone."
was
It
one.
was
Of,
awesome.
she was one of my students. I've had some real stars coming through. Some real stars coming
well,
through. They are wonderful.
You know, we early on we just had some local Yorkies that come through here. We still got a few.
But aren't they doing good?
Yeah,
Aren't they doing
absolutely. I think they watched the show and they said, I can build off that
Uh-huh.
and do something better. And in their mind, and maybe they can, maybe they won't. But I see
They come
better
through.
The more we
They
put
come
out there,
through,
the
and,
more we're
and
gonna
they're
get back, too.
inspired, and I can tell they're going to do something good.
Yeah, because somebody else has already took the leap out in the water and splashed the water around. And that's,
Don Newton's show is good too. I like
Uh,
Citizen Speak.
You know.
you know what? Go ahead.
Go
I'm
ahead.
sorry.
No, go ahead.
Don actually wants to do a live show every morning.
Uh-huh.
Every morning. He
That's
Yeah,
a
he
good
was telling me
idea.
about
that. 6 to
Yeah, that's a
7:30.
really good
He needs to
idea.
find out what time does the programmer get in here because that programmer could put him on. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know how that would work, but
Yeah, I don't
We
think
had-
they get here
but-
until like 9 or 10.
and actually I told him, I said, why don't you get 3 people involved with you that's got different views and
Okay.
just do it.
There's a couple of different. Okay, I'm thinking about trying to make an alternative studio, and I know that Randini is talking about making an alternative studio out of that building where he got.
Uh-huh.
He's talking about building a studio out there.
Uh-huh.
See what I mean? And I'm thinking about getting someplace and putting an alternative studio in it, and we could have see if there was an alternative studio somewhere, and if we could make that would require cooperation. But if we could work out a deal where we could do the switch and we could just give them the feed, See what I mean? He could do his show from his house,
That's
and
true.
give
That's
them the
true.
feed.
Yeah.
You see what I mean?
Well, I hadn't even thought about that.
So you know, we'll see what the future brings. Right now, we need to talk about
Just get
streaming.
yeah,
Isn't
streaming.
that right?
Streaming's the first step. Yes.
We need to.
and I think we will. I think it
we
will
need
get
to
here.
see some streaming.
Because we've had I think we've had a grant coming in and some money and
I think
hopefully.
I think it's time. I think it's time to see some streaming around here, don't you?
But I would
I'm
suggest
excited.
anyone, whenever you go out to different areas, to turn on the, if you were on vacation or something. I was in Greensboro the other day and I watched their public access channel and I thought it was very lame.
That's what you told me. I was
Very,
so
very, Greensboro.
Oh.
Very lame.
I've heard that.
It was, and not kicking religion. Don't take it the wrong way, but I think they had 12 hours of religion and a city
In a
council
row.
meeting, and
Nothing
that was
appealing
it.
to
That-
anybody else.
I was there for 3
happens
days
on
every time we turned on. It was-
Sunday
and,
here.
and I understand that there's a need for that, and there's no problem. But I think we need to do just a little bit more
I got to run my.
variety.
Sundays are like that. Sunday's pretty much an all-day religious channel.
Yeah, but I've noticed
I got
about
to run
9
my
o'clock
reel
it's
now. Let's
changing.
see.
Welcome to the Pleasure Saucer. Good morning. Welcome to the Pleasure Saucer. Always Cry Theater in a crowded fire. I want to.
I don't think it's funny. You gotta make some money. Now look at honey. You gotta root hard or die. I've been a good fella. I know you mellow. Ain't no storyteller. You gotta root hard or die. I sold my watch and my golden diamond ring. Now you got the star. Shake it, that old thing. I don't think it's funny. You gotta make some money. Now look here, honey. You gotta root hard or die.
Or is it more presentable?
She lives in Madison County. She's not that mean. I'll be in there a couple times.
You have to be here at 5:30, right? 6:30. 6:30 on Wednesdays is the night to join. No, that's not a problem. It's just my budget. I have to watch it.
Well, like I
That's
said, the
free.
orientation doesn't cost anything. Just gonna pay
Okay.
for it. Just gonna go.
Okay.
They'll just tell you about it. They'll tell
Ain't
you
make believing.
some of the rules, what you can do, what you can't do.
I'm trying to get part-time work. I haven't any success yet, but I'm putting applications in.
I don't think it's funny.
That's all right. I'll put you back on.
Now look here,
I don't think we've had any more issues about rules here lately, have we?
I sold my
I don't
Rules.
think we've had any rule breakers. I mean,
Rule breakers.
Just had a couple of slip-ups, but
well, I mean, nothing.
nothing groundbreaking.
You don't seem to have had any problems lately. Everything's going along all right. Well, you were one of them.
Oh, yeah, I've had a couple.
You were part of the
problems.
problems. Yeah, there
What
was-
happened with you?
But the problems all seem to have.
Yeah, dissipate.
That's good. I'm glad.
That's the way it should be.
That's right.
Well, as long as we're not, purposely doing something.
Well, yeah.
We've
Right.
had people misspeak on the shows before.
Oh, really?
Live
Right.
shows.
And I've had,
I didn't do anything like it then.
I've had the same thing happen, you know.
I've had them cuss. I've had them say, "Vote for me."
But there was
Which
something.
and then somebody, Randy actually didn't want himself.
That's right.
And he asked for some donate to some campaign. I forgot who it was.
Yeah.
And I didn't catch it. And I went, wow.
There was something I said one time, like
So
the
like, you
first
just
time I
have
was
to word
here.
it like, oh,
Or something, you
Please
said
support
something about the
instead of,
board, you can't
support
do that,
this
or something, I can't
gentleman
remember what it was.
Instead of voting, say, consider supporting me in the final election if I'm a candidate. That's all you got to do. We don't want to.
can't tell them.
I enjoyed having all y'all to the tea
Thank
party
you.
today so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming.
It's always a fun time. Yeah,
No dead air.
no dead air.
Yeah, I know half the time the people wouldn't have been able to hear what was going on because we were just yapping
okay.
all which way. That's
The
fine.
knowledge of the table of knowledge is still watching. So I
No,
was down there the other day. Yeah, you gotta go down there.
Give me a
What's the table of knowledge?
There's a table of knowledge.
Truth
down in
and knowledge,
Biltmore.
isn't
A table of knowledge.
just table of knowledge.
Table
is
of
it?
knowledge. It's down in Biltmore. It's at the McDonald's. There's a group of old guys. There's about 12 of them. I went in there one day, which I don't very rarely go in there, and I was down there early in the morning, and this guy comes up to me and says, "You on TV?" And I'm like, "Oh God, here we go."
I know.
And I'm
We can't go to
thinking,
the
"Oh
grocery
shit,
store.
here we go," because I'm thinking they're going to bitch at me about something.
Uh-huh.
I said, "Yes, ma'am." He said, "Well, we watch you." We? And he said, "Yeah, see us sitting here? We call this a truth and knowledge table. And one of the things we discuss almost every day is what we see on your TV."
Wow.
I thought that was neat. I think John gave him a yell out before. We need to say that from occasion.
Wow.
I was wondering, are they still?
They're still down there. I was down there a while
They're
back,
still
and I seen the
watching.
guy, the three guys came over to the table, and of course there's 6 more sitting over in the corner. Some may watch it, some don't. They bring it up.
Well, a lot of times, like when I'm talking about, like, are we letting computers make decisions and things like that, some of the stuff that I was talking about, sometimes I feel like I'm talking to them. Maybe, if they're still watching, I don't know,
Yeah.
Have you ever seen? I'm such a movie buff. Have you ever seen the movie Artificial Intelligence?
I think I have.
It's a really good example of what I see coming.
I think there's
That and another one called Gattaca is another one too.
I'm not James Sutton, but I think there's a tremendous amount of people watching. I mean, we see that with phone calls.
I get it all the time with the people I talk to. They say, "I love Mad Scientist Tea Party." They say, "I love that show." Rita, a friend of mine.
Do they really?
She says that she said they love that. My ex-husband says he loves it. I mean,
People tell me that, but see, I think it's because they're talking to me. They say, "Oh, well, I love your TV show," and stuff like that. And I think, well, I think I must be boring these people to death. I watch it myself.
At the airport, I was dropping my mom off at the airport, and a kid comes up to me and he's like, "Aren't you that girl on the show?" And I had
yeah.
I had this shirt on. I was like, "Well, what show are you talking about?"
Yeah.
But it was really funny. And people do notice, and his roommate, her girlfriends were out one night, we're all hanging out, and
Who's your name? Who's-
her friend saw me, and she's like, "I've seen you on that show before the tea party. They love you. They're all like college kids."
it's the exact same thing I get.
It's hilarious.
Yeah,
It's
they
just
love
funny,
your
too,
show.
'cause
Oh,
she
that
was
makes me
hanging
feel
out
so
with
good.
Yeah,
They really do.
I'm hearing the same thing. Everybody loves your show.
John, something to consider, and always it's your show anyway. I know you don't like live call-ins, but maybe you could consider doing a live call-in viewers' response comments about the show or what they'd like to see, and have someone off air take those calls.
Well,
And
I wanted to do the email in.
See, I like that too.
I think that was originally your idea.
I think that's...
And that's why you see that white wire there? It's supposed to be hooked to the internet for doing that.
Yeah, because
So,
instant chat room.
I got to have someone to do it. You see what I got to have a person. I can't do
sitting
it.
here and doing this.
Yeah, I can't do it and run
So
the tea
we've got it
party.
here.
Yeah, it's right here.
We just have to bring a laptop in.
See that?
So they have authorized us to be online. Remember that was an
Yeah.
issue. Remember that?
Oh God. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm still.
I know. You don't have to go there.
But
Go ahead.
Well, you
The
haven't
last
heard the
time-
latest, but
No, I'm sure.
The last time I was here, we had that other phone in here, and I picked up the phone. You put it on speaker, and it was some redneck, KKK
Oh, I heard
redneck,
that. I
and he
heard
said
that.
something about. He said,
Kill the.
"Kill Obama." I hope some
Right.
KKK shoots him when he
That's
gets in the
uncalled for.
yeah.
And that's what
But
happened.
Don got someone like that Tuesday before
Did he?
last. He got
Yeah.
someone.
real quick,
you had to hang
is
up
that
on
on?
the customer.
Yeah, you heard that one?
How do you turn that phone on? Is it automatically on?
Oh, just
or-
plug it in back here.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
we've been unplugging it because we're getting.
We unplugged it
phantom
because like
calls.
right now
Yeah.
if I put
Oh, that happened
it's at
one
the end of
time
this
too.
wire,
The
you
phone
just
kept
find the black
ringing.
wire. It's laying
Gotcha,
on the
gotcha,
floor
I
back there
got you.
somewhere. But
So,
there's another one sitting right here on a white wire. See, you just
that's what
just-
she uses.
just plug them in, and they work. We unplug
Now,
them.
what about
people-
Studio A?
Okay,
It's wired different, right?
it's wired, and you don't even need a telephone.
Yeah,
No, because
gotcha.
you can just hit the.
You can just hit the
Transfer.
button,
Are you leaving?
and
Okay.
the caller talks on the air, and you hear it in the monitor speakers. And when you talk in your microphone, they hear you. Just
So it's not reversible?
well, if they have their
The
TV
TV on,
turned
yeah,
up too
yeah,
loud,
yeah,
it
gotcha.
is. Or if
The
you have the
most-
monitors in the studio turned up too loud, it would be.
One of the most incredible pieces of work done here so far I saw, and I don't know if you said it didn't sound like you saw it. I think it was done in this big studio over here, and I think the guy that she was interviewing was some kind of major producer or somebody that came in for a day or
Well,
two, like
what,
this was about a year
Allison?
ago.
Is that-
Allison, and she and the whole studio, it looked like something directly off PBS.
Oh, she did not do it in there. I know what
No,
it was.
it wasn't.
It was off. It was off PBS or
It
something
looked
like
like
that.
something that was
She did
straight
that.
from
Okay,
PBS.
yes. Okay, she interviewed the producer of What the Bleep Do We Know? Do you know that movie? Okay,
Yeah.
and the show you saw was
That's
called
incredible.
the Quantum Factor. Was the name of the show
Okay,
she did?
yeah.
like that. That was Allison, and she did that like out on the West Coast.
Wow.
Or out in
really,
in the Rocky Mountains.
really-
Where is it? Everybody lives high.
Denver.
Denver. Oh, she did that out in Denver.
It looked like
Yeah.
something exactly.
Because that's where that crew was that did that movie.
Wow.
Yeah, that's right. And
That
he
was
is a big time producer. Yeah,
big.
But you know, that could be something you could consider, though, if we can't do the laptop thing, which I still like it pretty well.
I like that idea. If I had anybody who would sit there and would do it,
I'll sit there
you
and
know
do
what
it.
else I want to do is you know how they used to do this a long time ago. I used to see it. Sometimes there'd be preaching, there'd be a church service on Sunday, and down in the corner there'd be a little circle, and there'd be a woman down there, and she'd be doing
Sign language.
Sign language.
Yeah.
I want to get somebody doing sign language, but they're not doing sign language to what we're saying. They're making fun of us. Like when a guest comes on, they go, well, look at that, or
Stupid idiot thinks he
Yeah.
knows what it is.
So the people that are reading sign language would know exactly. Oh, they'd have.
There she goes, up in her freaking mouth again.
And it would be like the joke is for them. It's their personal thing. I think they love it, And they can make fun of me. They can make fun of everybody. You know what I'm saying?
Trying to make reason. That's funny.
Right.
That is something.
So we need somebody with a sense of humor in sign language to do that. I don't know.
Who does
I can
sign
say
language
hello
around
and
here?
hell in sign
And
language.
hell.
There's a lot
I know
of
how to
people
say
local.
I want a cigarette.
You could contact. I mean, there's probably agencies around here somewhere that you could
Yeah, I
contact
don't know
and
if-
find someone.
You'll get just find somebody that does it.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're gonna say,
Well,
what are
I
you gonna do?
found-
Make fun of them?
Well, I found somebody to do it, and it was somebody who liked me working on their show for free. But when I asked them to
Them
do
for-
it, they had a comment that they were worth money to work on my show, so they didn't want to do it.
There we go in that round robin routine.
So
Well,
what
you
is
know
it?
how many I've run across that before.
What is
I
it you want to
despise
do?
that.
What is it you want to do with the laptop? Have people email in while the show's on?
Oh, that or have instant message, like
Yeah.
Yahoo instant message. One day we actually got it up and running, and we got one guy to do it,
Right,
and then
then
after that the hell blew.
I know, was that what ridiculous? I could.
Yeah.
Well, you know me, I get upset about ridiculous stuff.
So do you just like when something comes in, you just stop and say, "John, we have someone that wants
Well,
to know
whenever
blah
there's a
blah
break-
blah blah
whenever there's
blah."
a
or-
break point, yeah. certainly.
Okay.
Well, see, it's hard enough to get it up and going and stuff like that, and then you run across resistance and stuff like that.
Well,
Not
it's
just
here
sport.
now.
It's here now.
It just took the stumbles and the blocks.
Well, see, it's
we
here
should
now.
have had it to begin with.
Right, it's here now, but it could be a problem again. Okay, here. I'm still recording. Y'all don't know this, but I was late getting my record button pushed today.
Oh, that's what we're doing. Okay.
So,
Gosh, are we
well,
said anything?
I'll often sit here for a half hour or
Well, I watched you turn it on today. I was at home when you came in the room.
Yeah.
And then you left. And then.
Hello, John. You are still recording.
Joe
Why?
came in and sat in for about 5 minutes while I was getting my clothes on.
Why are you still recording, John?
because I just wanted to make the full 3 hour.
Well, let me ask you this, John. When is your repeats happening? I'm
2 a.m.
2 a.m. Do you like that time?
Yeah. I'm okay.
Is that during the week or is that on a weekend?
No, 2 a.m. Friday night / Saturday morning, 2 a.m. And 2 a.m. Saturday night / Sunday morning, 2 a.m.
So that's when
Good
you
times.
actually.
You happy with it?
Those 2 times.
Well, let me tell you.
And that's all I can get is one repeat for each show.
Yeah.
That's all they'll give me.
Okay, well, I've come up with a good idea if I got on the board. And even if Davine gets on there, I'll suggest her to throw us out.
She's easy to work with.
Yeah, I know. That's the reason I say if it's only one person, I don't mind. Let her have it.
And it'd be great if it's 2 hours.
Yeah. What I suggest, if you have a live show, in order to encourage more live program, because I think that's where it's at, right? Would you agree?
I agree, absolutely. Yeah. We have a hard time actually facilitating enough live
What's ways we
programs.
can encourage that? There's one way that I can think of. If you have a live show, we will, the URTV will reward you unless we have too much programming coming in. You know, if you do a live show, we will reward you with another time slot similar to what you have or different. You can choose. Think about it. If you do a live show, you got Thursday at 4 to 6 or whatever, 4 to 7, you get to pick your time slot for another one. You get 2 time slots to re-air, for re-air purposes. I think that is a good way, because that way somebody can say, oh, well, a lot of people say, oh, I'm live Thursday night at 8 o'clock. Well, I can't see it on that night. It's okay. We're on again on so-and-so time.
Right.
So, I mean, because you're producing it, you're turning out
Well,
programming.
you do get that.
Yeah.
Here.
But
do
you don't
that.
get a guaranteed time slot on
You
the
don't-
other one.
Yeah, you don't get. Yeah, you don't get.
So what I'm saying
you
is
don't
get
get to
another.
choose your time
Well,
slot.
that's
You
what I'm
get-
saying.
You get to. Yeah, you get. You fill out a form and they ask you on there what time slot you would want, but you're not guaranteed you're going to get it. And
But
then.
what I'm, yeah, I,
you know,
yeah, I
and you know how that goes.
Because I
You
turn
don't
in so
know-
much, I don't
You
even
don't
pay
know when
attention to
you
it.
don't know when your next wrestling show is going to be
Yeah, I
on, do
don't
you?
know.
Unless you go look on the
Yeah.
schedule.
But I'm saying though, to encourage more live shows, we
to
could
say
guarantee.
that
Yeah,
if they're producing a live, they get first choice on
On
the
a re-air.
on one repeat.
Yeah.
and they should get 2 repeats. They should get 1 repeat, which they get to choose, and
And
then
one more.
and then one that the station will just choose.
Unless we get a lot of programs.
Obviously.
But, you know, that may not happen anytime
Right.
soon.
Because we know that there's people out there that are doing shows that are not live shows. There's people out there submitting material that they scarcely even did anything to produce, and they're getting 3 and 4 repeats, and you know it.
Yeah.
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 And people that are doing live repeats are like myself. I can get 1 and I can.
What do you
I can
think
get
about
only
the
one.
idea though?
And I get 1 and I get only 1
Yeah.
because I'm in the doghouse.
I know.
Are you in the
I
doghouse?
stay in the doghouse
What'd you do this time?
every time I turn around. You remember?
What?
No, you weren't here.
What was it? I might have
The
saw
next the next day after the gala. Okay.
it. Yeah.
I heard about it.
Yeah.
There was one day when there was these 2 young kids were in
Well, that
here.
was over this goddamn wire right here in the floor.
There was one
See,
day
because
when
we had a guy in here who was
the gala
supposed
was
to
on a
teach.
Friday.
He was teaching a workshop on how to upload your video to the internet, and I had got him on going so far, and I stuck my head back here and I said, "Are you online?" And he says no, and I knew he had to be online in order to teach you how to upload your video. So I said, "Are you online?" He says, "No, I'm not online." I said, "Well, maybe see in the closet up front there's like a patch bay there where all the lines come
Yeah, I've
in,
seen 'em.
and I thought, well, maybe this one wasn't plugged up to the internet. So I thought I'd run up there and see. And when I got there, Pat was standing there with the door open. Now, I wasn't thinking about anything except which number is this line, so I make sure it's plugged into one that's an internet line, you know. And so as I rounded the corner and started to head into the closet, Pat goes, "You can't go in there." You see what I mean? I'm not allowed to go into the closet in the Paul Snow studio. Okay, it is restricted.
Are we still recording?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, unfortunately, we are.
Well, you know, I'm
And so,
sure.
and so I won't tell you what I told her.
Yeah. Oh, I can imagine. Well, it should have been hooked up, right? You know.
Well,
You know,
and maybe it was. I don't know, but I had to check to see. I mean, I don't. You know, I was just.
Maybe,
You know.
maybe she might have been better. And this is Monday morning quarterback. Could have been better if you told Jonathan maybe go in there and check it. Would he have known? Or Kurt? Or even anyone else?
I don't think Jonathan was here at the moment. Everybody else was. I was just.
I know
Hey,
you was just trying to help out.
We were all running around like crazy people, just trying to make it all work.
Yeah.
You know. The
Well,
answer was she had Paul Snow on it. Okay, Paul Snow was going to take care of it, and he got it worked out because I didn't know what I was doing, and so he moved the whole class out of here into the front hallway and into a whole other area and plugged them into another plug.
you know what bugs me? You know what my pet peeve is? And I'll tell you. When I'm sitting at home watching the show,
The Tea Party,
yeah,